Hafa and welcome to Something to Talk About. Here we are in King's Restaurant in Tamuning. Of course, we got the regular fare on the table, our seafood sampler and some fruit to offer our guests. And today we have a double header. We're going to be talking about two different issues and two different topics. One of them, our first one, is with Vince Regis from Inet Ngef Pagu. He's the troop leader, and we'll talk about this cultural group and what they've been doing around Guam during Mes Chamorro. And then we'll be visiting with some of our friends from the community in the world of disabilities. Some folks concerned about the attitudes toward them and their plight right here on Guam. All of that is ahead on Something to Talk About. To Vince Regis, Southern High School teacher as well as the troop leader for Inet Ngef Pagu, right?
Yes, definitely.
First of all, when did the dance group start?
Well, it started in 2000, so 17 years ago. Yes.
Was that by you?
Yes, the group itself was, well, what happened was it was just a PE class actually. It started off as a PE class and it was just taken and part of the PE class was a dance portion. And so I decided to kind of venture into it and try to do a little bit of Chamorro dance and see how the kids would receive it. And then after the first year, the principal really enjoyed or really thought that this would be a viable curriculum, and so we kind of pursued it as a curriculum in the middle school.
That's interesting. But you did that in Ocean View, or was it at Inarajan Middle School?
Yeah.
Do you think it would have had the same impact if you had done this further up north? Would it have made a difference in Dedido or Jigo?
That's a great question, and I'm not sure. I'm just very grateful that I was able to find the right support. This thing started with just an idea and with the support of the administration and the faculty. And then it does help that I'm able to profess and talk about Chamorro-ness and Chamorro identity when majority of the students are Chamorro. I find that it is it didn't matter when I talk about these issues because these issues are true. And when we first did it, I just had a heart. I really didn't have any major formal training in Chamorro dance or.
Could you even identify Chamorro dance?
At the time, no. Yeah. Honestly, now it's nice because now we're able to really try to find what that unique thumbprint is of our people. I started with just wanting to tell our stories. I just wanted to find different mediums in which to evolve our Chamorro culture and most especially the stories and how to appeal to our younger folks. So it was through dance that we were able to find a more vibrant way of appealing to them.
And that was something that the kids locked into.
Yes,
I mean, that was a direct path into an interest for them, right?
Definitely.
You had no problem recruiting the kids, and did they all come from Southern villages?
Yes. I don't want to say we didn't have any problems, but I was just fortunate to have a core group of students in the first year that just wanted to do something different and just wanted to, and it just helped because I'm very passionate about it and I'm very concerned about the flight of our Chamorro culture and how do we evolve as a people. And so I had a core group of students that just wanted to do this, and then that affirmed me that I can continue to do this the following year. Then when the following year came, and then we entered into competitions, then we started to win, and then it started to gain momentum, and then we started to get approvals to start traveling, and then just God just,
when you started getting approvals to start traveling, that really opened up a whole nother world,
yes,
didn't it?
It did.
What's the reception? Where's the most, I don't know, isolated area that you might have that you performed in that knew nothing about Guam?
Oh my goodness. Many countries in Europe don't know anything about where Guam was. We just came back from Brazil. Some of the more isolated countries are places like Croatia, Slovenia. Those are places that
They don't have
people don't.
open exposure to the islands that
no.
way. So where was the place that everybody's maybe jaw just dropped? They saw these half-clothed natives,
Yes, yes, definitely.
performing these
Definitely.
weird dances,
Yeah,
right?
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, many people know of the Pacific. So when we come in, people associate us with some of the larger, more louder, I guess, more popular, more exposed countries like Tahiti and Hawaii.
Yeah.
And so when we come in, they kind of already associate us with that.
Yeah.
But then what helps is that when we come in and then we say we're from Guam, and then they usually show a map, but they give a little description of the island and where we come from. Usually they have the map and they'll say this is how far they've actually traveled.
Yeah, I think that is actually an advantage for you because
Yeah.
for years and years, people have been familiar with Polynesian
Yes,
dance.
yes, yes.
So you're presenting something from an island so far away that nobody
Yes.
even knows where it is on the map,
Yes.
and you're bringing to it an entirely different garb,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And
yes.
the sounds of the language are not different. The beats of the language
Definitely.
is very different,
Yes,
right?
definitely.
So they must be really enthusiastic to see something. I mean, a little more native in
Yes,
culture than what
definitely.
they're used to.
Yeah, and as we continue to travel, we start to define and really hone in on what separates us from the other
Yeah.
countries. There is a common thread that you see among dance and performances in the Pacific. So you see these certain steps and movements that are very similar from Fiji to Tonga to Hawaii to Guam to New Caledonia. You'll see kind of these certain steps and movements and a particular identity that we as a Pacific family kind of
Yeah.
put out. And that kind of goes back to our Austronesian roots, some of our shared languages, certain shared languages, like chants and sounds.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a need that we continue to try to hone in and identify ourselves.
Do you think you've got your finger right on it? Do you think you've got it, or is there still more research that needs to be done with the language? Or
Well, of course, there are different schools of thoughts. Remember that Chamorro dance is reconstructed, or what I say, constructed. And so we take the research, we imagine how it is in our heads, we find our substantiated points, and then we move forward with it.
Yeah.
For me, I want to be able to make sure that I tell the stories correctly, and that I provide a unique identity to what I'm doing and what we're doing as a people. So, but at the same time, evolve it and move it and change as the times change.
Now, so you're choreographing everything. All of these ideas of movement come from you.
Well, the kids and I, a lot of
Okay.
times, the kids and I, because, I really want to pay attention to what triggers them,
Yeah.
what moves them. And at the same time, I feel like I'm a guardian, one of all of us who are guardians of our culture. But I, particularly because I'm in a position of influence and a position of knowledge, that I want to make sure that if we're talking and they're inspired by a certain event, a certain time period, a certain chief or a story, that we figure out ways to present the story as we know, evolve it and appeal it and move it, and also make it reachable for our kids.
Yeah, but for your kids though, how do you make sure that they don't incorporate like the Running Man?
Well, it's interesting because there are those. I think it's a matter of placing it where it needs to be placed. So if we call it a contemporary form of expression, like we do a dance called that's the Legend of the Flame Tree. And we actually make a tree where the kids stand on top of each other and then they climb up and that is. But what that does is it appeals to a younger audience, but it also moves with other folk performing arts or folk dance around the world. You'll see that there are those performances that are kind of from the village, and then there are those that perform for world international stages.
I see.
And so we have to be
You have to have a more mass appeal.
Yeah, we
But
do.
when you come to Guam and you're
Yeah.
under the watchful eye, of the Guamanians,
Exact- yeah.
you have to bring it back a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to. Do you have to?
Tone it down, or
or not be so contemporary, I guess.
Yeah, I think for me it's a matter of calling it what it is. If I want to say it's a contemporary expression, I call it as a contemporary expression. If I want to say this is more kind of what we more traditional with or Spanish or whatever it is, I just call it what it is. And I think that's and so like I said, but what I do is I do bring it back to Guam. I test it out here because if it appeals to our folks here, then that's what matters and that's what's important.
Well, the appeal is great. I mean, the appeal is great because you guys perform pretty much everywhere.
Oh my God!
I mean, there isn't a major event where where you don't have the troupe there.
Yeah,
now you've also gotten into. We have just a little bit of time left to talk about the music part of it. Dance is one thing, but you're also creating music and you're making music.
Yes,
right?
we are. Yes.
Original hits. Original hits, not because. So you have.
Our hope is that. Yeah.
You did Hagu.
Yes. With Flora.
With Flora Boss. And now you're doing?
Yeah.
What did you just do?
We did Flora. I mean, we did Hagu with Flora, and then we released in February Tuhu Ilagohu, which was an original composition by the First Lady and the Guam Sirenas. And now we just released a song called Sen Guaizahao Guan, which is original from us. And it's mostly in English, but we use Sen Guaizahao Guan because we really love the island. And it's doing very well right now.
Are you shooting did you shoot a video with it? Or are you doing?
No, right now, we're going to upload it today on iTunes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we'll be uploading it today on iTunes, and then we're hoping to get a lyric video out by the end of this week, and then we'll put on the official video out. And a lot of great stuff, especially with all the things that are happening.
But you already have the song laid down. Okay,
because it's on radio.
My idea here is that we're going to run some of that along with this interview so that people get a taste of it, but it'll be on iTunes for sure.
Yes.
You have a very busy month of March. Is this your busiest?
It's the busiest month
because you're called on so much by different events. So you can find them everywhere. I mean, almost anywhere that there is a big event happening, you'll find them. Just quickly, can I ask you about the Chamorro blessings, the nature of the prayer, and how you constructed that?
Sure. Well, the blessings that we do is different from some of the more popular ones that you see out there. The one we do is kind of symbolic to us because the first part is a permission chant, which you see or what you say before you go into the jungle, or what you say before you go into any place that's sacred for ancestral worship, and so, or for our ancestors. And then the second part is a song that I wrote called Ginin Hagu. Ginin Hagu means for you, right, or from you, and what that song is about is saying paying homage and paying and giving thanks to everyone and everything that has made us to this day. So it can be our ancestors, it can be the people organizing the event.
And it's a chant.
And more of a song.
More of a song than it is a chant.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we look forward to finding you somewhere. You can find, like I said, you can find them. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Congratulations on your new song.
Thank you so much.
We are going to take a break here on Something to Talk About. Come on back.
There is no place like home. Sen Guaizahao. There is no place like home.
Thank you for joining us here on Something to Talk About. I said this is a double header that we're doing today, a couple of topics. Our second and last topic has to do with the community of people who live on Guam with disabilities. And we ran into Evelyn when we were taping here at King's, and we had a little bit of a conversation about some of the issues that you have getting around Guam.
That's correct.
Something that we take for granted is something that you really have to work hard to do, to be mobile. We also have a Kool-Aid, otherwise known as Frank Ungakta. You all know who he was. He ran for senator one time, and it's cool to have you here, brother. First of all, how hard was it for you to get to where we are from where you came from?
Well, Patty, like I mentioned to you before, I was staying down south. It's hard even to get scheduled, and it's either I leave 5:30 in the morning to get to a location, or leave very late. So we're working things out currently with the new contract that's in place, but still, we're still
it's a little slow moving.
Still a little slow moving from what we came from back then into now.
Yeah. Evelyn, your situation is different than Kool-Aid's in that you actually have your own private personal vehicle as well. So you have to make accommodations. It's a little easier for you because you just sort of walk on and get transportation. You have transportation that comes along with your mobility.
I have challenges every day because I use a power scooter to get around independently. And daily, I still struggle with trying to get transportation and timely manner, and also having a reliable transportation system is still the biggest problem here.
Yeah.
So what I'm now looking and reaching out to is also have alternative transportation other than just the transit system.
Yeah, something other than what the
Right.
government provides.
Right,
So
because-
you're talking about private companies
Yes.
providing the service.
Yes.
Is the service easy to get from private companies?
Right now for Guam, no, because the private companies such as the taxi that also serves the public community, none of them are ADA accessible. So right now, basically, my only resource and reliability will be the public transit system.
So you're saying that because taxi cabs cannot accommodate
Right.
your scooter.
Right.
So when you go to call for a taxi service,
It's not available because none of the taxi companies are
retrofitted.
ADA accessible right now.
are they now then ADA non-compliant? Is that what another
Yes,
way of saying
they're
that?
non-compliant right now.
Wow,
And anybody that provides the public transportation or the community transportation should be available to individuals with disabilities.
I didn't realize that it also, the ADA also applies to private transportation
Yes,
companies.
it does.
You say as long as they're offering the
Right.
service to the public,
Yeah.
then they have to accommodate
Yes,
everybody, no
it's-
matter what the circumstance.
as
But,
per-
but under that, could they also refuse service under the law?
No,
they don't have the
because-
right to refuse the
because
service.
under the American with Disabilities Act, we as individuals have our civil rights. So
Mm-hmm.
that can be in turn used against the civil rights of the individual.
Yeah. So
So-
this is where some of the bigger issue comes. You don't have a choice.
No, correct.
And you know, Kool-Aid, you've been saying this for a long time. You don't
Yeah,
have you don't have a choice.
No.
We don't have a choice.
We don't have a choice as easy as you would as
Right.
an ambulatory individual. There's technically just a lot of challenges, as you
Yeah.
said earlier. There's things we can't take for granted that you guys could as able-bodied. So
Do you have to give like a private transportation company some reasonable amount of
Yes.
time when you call for
Yes,
service to
yes,
respond
yes.
with the proper equipment?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. How often do you do that?
Actually, with a private company, I just confirmed it yesterday. We need to give them at least 2 weeks notice.
2 weeks notice.
Yeah.
Might as well just get on the bus.
Right.
And even on the bus, Patty, we still have to do 2 days scheduling
Yeah.
prior to
Yeah.
2
that.
days prior.
Yeah. So you don't make plans on the just on the fly, do you?
Yeah, it's not like like I said,
Yeah.
ambulatory individuals who just hop in the car and go.
Have you brought it to anybody's attention, this non-compliance? Because it seems like a larger issue.
Yes, I have brought it to the attention of Guam Legal Services, who handles protection and advocacy.
Yeah. What do they
Actually,
say?
I have an ongoing case with a private company, which is Lam Lam Tours,
Uh-huh.
because they too are non-ADA compliant.
Okay, so you
And they
you
serve the
already have
public.
wheels in motion
Yes.
to force people to respond.
Yes.
But the government also has a responsibility.
The government is also lacking, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, they would seem to be the easiest people to
Yes.
go after because
they're
it's
getting
taxpayer
right,
money
and
right?
federal money at the same time.
Yeah. So, have you made any cases against the Guam government?
Pretty soon.
Civil right has
soon?
been
Oh, okay.
civil right has been done multiple times on my end, at least 5 times already within the government of Guam. And what that had done was they freeze the federal funds coming to Guam, and until they can make changes.
For all of the years that you have been making this a point, through your access, Kool-Aid, to the media, is there a point where you think that it has to be a strong case, like a lawsuit, to get the government's attention, like a class action?
Yes.
I think that's the only thing
That's-
when they're really going to open their eyes and understand the challenges that we face when it comes to transportation for all individuals on our island with disabilities. Because when I ran for senator, that was one of my biggest things, that individuals on our island with any disability are treated unfairly, and to get reasonable and accommodating services, we still don't understand. I mean, just last week, I was in the hospital, and GMH, I brought up to their attention that they're not able to handle individuals with disabilities, especially if the person is blind. So,
In what way were they not able to handle you?
well, I even talked to Miss Paris, and I brought to her attention that the staff will bring in my food and stuff, or bringing up, and you just leave it and walk out. Don't even say, Kool-Aid, your food is on the table, or here's your stuff. They walk in, walk out, and that's it.
And the only way you know your food is there is if they just, because somebody just came in the room and you could
Right,
smell it.
or I
Oh,
can
yeah.
smell it. So,
yeah.
again,
So there's some lacking in some of the etiquette. There's some lacking in the protocol, for sure. People are not necessarily trained. Even if, for example, Evelyn, even if you were able to call a taxi cab for service, and then they did deliver a vehicle, don't the drivers also have to have some kind of protocol,
Yes,
language to deal
They
with
have
it?
to have what they call passenger service training, as well as customer service training. That has to all be placed into one already. Being an accessible taxi.
So you don't think that
transportation.
there really any taxi companies are going really putting their drivers through the
No,
training, do
no, none. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this problem
you? Okay.
with.
So one way to go through it is through the legal system. I know that this has caught the attention, of lawmakers who, have to take a hard look at some of these policies and revamp them, because they don't feel like it. I don't feel like all of your needs are being met. If Evelyn has to pull me aside, while I'm taping something because we happen to be in the same place,
Yeah.
not a whole lot of people are paying attention.
No, true. And part of if I can just throw this in, part of the biggest problem that we have with our only public transportation is that it's typical of the government one, because they say it's money, but the legislature, of course, abolished the former GMTA back in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And all the monies that is related to that is dispersed to
somewhere else.
most of the entire government agencies now.
So whatever money was there has been
It's
dispersed
left.
already and not for.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the government of Guam.
Right.
That's for sure.
So now
Yeah.
we're battling situations like this, and the lawmakers, all they can say is, we're trying to
We're trying to see where we can get the money.
see where we can get the funds, or we're trying to
Yeah.
do the best we can.
That's always been a big
Technically,
problem.
that is not enough.
Yeah.
Because it feels as if though, we're practically pleading to them. And, being an individual with a disability, we also want independence. So without that, we're not able to function. So
That's ultimately it. The independence, feeling
Yeah.
like you have some freedom of movement. What everybody wants, absolutely. Listen, thank you guys for calling my attention to your plight, and maybe we'll get some response from this show. We'll see what happens, but we'll follow through with you. I have your numbers, and Kool-Aid, you always, we can't hide from Kool-Aid. He knows where we are. Thanks, Evelyn. It was nice to meet
No
you.
problem.
Kool-Aid,
Thank you.
thanks a lot,
Hey, thank
buddy.
you, buddy, for having us.
And that is it for our doubleheader today on Something to Talk About. We'll see you next time. Thanks for coming.
There is no place like